Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to the Credit Plug channel where we talk about how to build credit, how to establish relationships with banks and financial institutions, and how to get you access to high limit credit funding. If you're new to our channel, or if you've just been coming across our videos and you like our content, definitely make sure you subscribe. We try to post videos every day, but definitely every week. And if you're also interested in applying to any credit cards or opening any bank accounts, whether that's personal or business, we have a ton of links in the description of the video, and that's one way you could definitely support our channel. So for today's video, I'm going to just be sharing with you why right now, this is March 9th, 2020, why it's a good time now to apply for credit limit increases. So, in this information actually came about because I actually have a client who actually works in the banking sector, and so they were able to shed some light on, you know, when is a good time is to actually, you know, apply for different credit accounts. And from what I gathered, the beginning of the year is the best time. So generally, like the first quarter of the year. Couple reasons why. So one is, um, the first quarter of the year, January, February, March. Seasonally, is usually the slowest part of the year. People are, sort of recovering from, the winter holidays shopping season. So it's usually just a little slower. The weather's colder, there's less economic activity, etc. But one of the main reasons why is because just the way the business cycle works, right? So uh, banks really don't want to, in certain situations, but they don't open up as many new accounts at the end of the year, just because they don't want to take on any for their year end fiscal year end. They want to minimize as much losses. So, and then also in the beginning of the year, they definitely want to stimulate the economy, more, put more capital in the hands of consumers and businesses. And so the beginning of the year is actually the best time to apply for accounts and credit limit increases. And so I wanted to share just some recent credit limit increases. So today I was actually got three different credit limit increases from different banks, all within the same couple of minutes of each other, and it was something I wasn't planning on doing. So I wanted to share one of those with you, and this was actually with Capital One. So I've been a Capital One customer for a very long time. I was actually with them before they acquired Chevy Chase Bank, because Capital One used to just be only credit cards, and then they expanded into the banking sector. So I was with Chevy Chase, my first bank accounts with them. They got acquired, and so then I just transitioned to Capital One. So, you know, Capital One is, in my opinion, because I started off with them originally as the first sort of you know financial institution that I banked with, got credit with, etc. Um, I started off with like their platinum card, and I have a couple other accounts. I've done reviews on the Quicksilver as well as the Spark Business card. So yeah, I have a decent relationship with Capital One. But however, although Capital One was sort of the first bank, they have been somewhat conservative. So my lowest limits were actually with Capital One, believe it or not. And I went into this as far as how they bucket you based on what your credit profile is when you join them. So, when I was with them originally, I didn't have any credit, so I just kind of been stuck with lower limits relative to a lot of the other accounts that I have. And so I never really, tried to grow those limits. When requesting credit limit increases, they have a ton of different reasons on why they won't give you one. So they actually want to see that you're utilizing their cards. And so you have to demonstrate a pattern of that over several months that you're actually utilizing. So if you just have a card with them and you don't utilize it and you just let it report and you're actually not putting any spend on it, then they're likely not going to give you a credit limit increase. And I know they instituted a rule recently where they're only giving out credit limit increases probably like once every 6 months. So it's kind of hard to get a credit limit increase with them if you're bucketed already. Now, if you join Capital One and you already have good credit, then you could automatically just get some of their prime credit accounts and get high limits that way. So their business model, they have accounts for subprime and they have accounts for prime credit, and they sort of just bucket you in there. Even when your credit score improves, it's very, very difficult, at least from my experience and some others. If you've had other experiences with getting increases with Capital One, definitely share that with me. But so today I decided to apply for a credit limit increase, and I was expecting, the usual, we will send you a letter in 7 to 10 days. But to my surprise, they actually tripled the limit more than tripled the limit that I had, and it was a low limit. Probably about $2,400. One of my lowest limit credit cards right now, as a matter of fact. I don't even, it's basically a sock drawer card. I don't really use it. It only has 1.5% cash back. And so I have a ton of other rewards cards that I utilize for different categories. So I don't really use that card at all. But yeah, to my surprise, they actually gave me a $5,000 credit limit increase, which I was actually really, really surprised. And I don't know if this has anything to do with the recent, reduction in the interest rates. So the Federal Reserve, which basically controls the supply of money by increasing and decreasing interest rates, as well as controlling the amount of liquidity that's in the financial system. So whenever you hear on the news like the Fed's lowering interest rates, they're lowering interest rates. So other major banks borrow money from the Fed at that interest rate that they're talking about, but that interest rate is not always passed along to the consumer. So even though the Federal Reserve will lower interest rates that they're lending to the major banks, those banks don't necessarily have to pass that interest rate reduction to consumers. But to my surprise, like I said, I wasn't expecting that at all. And I think one of the reasons could be this recent downturn in the financial markets, as well as a lot of people are speculating a recession that may or may not occur. So I wonder if it has anything to do with them wanting consumers to spend more. But however you want to look at it, now is a good time to ask for a credit limit increase. And if you already a Capital One customer, you could just go through the online app. You could do it on your phone, as a matter of fact. Just request a credit limit increase, and then other banks too. I got 2 other credit limit increases, not as large, but also from my Discover cards as well today. So yeah, I mean, I'll take it. Definitely utilize it. The right way. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely surprising that all of a sudden, they're giving out, double, triple the credit limit, even though it's something that I wasn't really utilizing. I may have had a couple auto, billings charged there, but other than that, it wasn't really utilized that much. So, you could definitely go and try your luck and see what happens. But I think right now, there's definitely a push to continue, stimulating the economy because, consumer expenditures is really what drives the economy. When people have, discretionary income or credit, they definitely want to keep that going so that the economy can continue to flourish. So, yeah, definitely check it out. And if you're interested in building primary accounts, you can email me info or credit plug. Until next time, y'all take it easy, and we'll talk to you soon.